Welcome to another episode of Chew on This with Devra and Ray. I'm Ray.
And I'm Devra.
And I'm Kurt.
This is our guest, Kurt. We're
Welcome,
so happy
Kurt.
that you're with us.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder, your best life starts with a healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy spirit. And we want to inspire you to live in happiness and health. We explore simple changes that you can make in your life to what you consume, what you think, what you do, to make a better overall health for you. So, because our deepest desire is optimal health, right?
Sure.
And so there's simple changes we can do that. And so our topics might be food related, and they might be more lifestyle related.
Stress, whatever.
And today they're going to be one of our favorite topics, doggy related.
Pet related,
Do you do
yes.
cats as well?
We do.
Okay. Our little fur babies, in other words. So before we get started, though, because we talk a little bit about even its pet health, just as a reminder, this show is not intended to treat or diagnose disease or any health condition for humans or animals.
Absolutely.
This show is for informational and educational purposes only, and it's not a substitute for professional medical advice. So please consult your healthcare professional before engaging in anything we discuss on the show today.
Absolutely.
Including veterinarians. Huh?
Veterinarian.
It's a healthcare professional.
Absolutely.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kurt Weeks.
Hi.
I just have to say, for those friends of ours who happen to know Missy and Fred Day, it always cracks me up when I'm right, Day, Weeks.
We just need to know somebody with a month.
Just need to find some months out there.
Yeah, we need to find some months out there.
Gather some years together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
years, all those things. So tell us a little bit about Kurt.
A little bit about Kurt. Kurt has been in the service industry for a long time. I used to work for Walt Disney World.
That's my favorite.
And I absolutely loved working there. It was so much fun, and I loved taking care of people. It was all a part of what we did at Walt Disney World. And then when we moved out here, I did quite a few things in the vacation business, of course in the hotels. And then about a little bit more than a year ago, I had my best friend, Zenta. She'd been dealing with an autoimmune disease basically her whole life. My son had actually rescued her.
And just to clarify for the audience,
Yes.
Zenta
is a husky. And she was actually, she was all chewed up with flies and very thin, and you know, she was one of those dogs that you see and you're like, oh my gosh. And then she looked at me and she chose me. And so I'm like, okay, it's my mission to take good care of her for her whole life. And we found out that she had an autoimmune disease from some things that were going on. She would end up having her pads cracked. So if you can imagine a fingernail or a fingerprint actually coming off or splitting. And then she would have a rough nose, and she'd lost some hair along the way. But she seemed fairly happy, fairly healthy. She never really ran. We found out that her backbone was actually infusing together, and we knew that she was kind of that special needs dog that needed that pampering care. And there became that one day, and I always get emotional talking about it, that we would pick her up to take her outside because the arthritis was so bad. And take her outside to go to the bathroom and take her back, and my wife says, we need to do something. And I took her down to the vet, and they said, it's time, you can put her down. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I said, not today, we're going back home. And so we went back home. A little while later, we had a friend come over, and Zenta basically had her place in the corner. And we saw her kind of withering away. And my friend said, oh, there's this thing called Coriolis versicolor mushrooms. And I'm like, what?
That's a mouthful.
I didn't even.
Fast.
So,
okay, say it again.
Coriolis versicolor.
Coriolis
Versicolor.
versicolor.
It's a mushroom. And so it's baked into a biscuit. And I had tried everything. And Zenta at that time was 14 years old. And so we popped open the bag, and gave Zenta one, she loved it, and we gave the other 2 puppies one, they loved it. And within a couple of days, we start watching Zenta kind of moving around. Now, I had seen Zenta walk around the house before, so that wasn't a big thing. But about 5 days into getting her the biscuits, she jumps on the couch. She looks over at me and she's like, pet me.
Wow.
Now, I would reach over and touch her like this, and before the mushrooms, if her hair bristled at all, she would ki-eye, because she thought that it might be painful for her. And so moving forward, she's jumping up, begging for the mushrooms. And we're like, this is the craziest thing ever. And so we called up my friend and we said, what's this all about? And they said, well, actually, we've aligned with a company that believes that people health and dog health should be unanimous, should be together. And if you can make it in a human kitchen, that's the way that dog food should be made. And people should be able to, people should be able to people should be able to eat it too. And the magic of the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, it actually just boosts the immune system. So the immune system is able to do what it's able to do on 7 different levels. So,
and it's just like in a human, that when the immune system's compromised, the gut's compromised, then it leads to autoimmune.
Absolutely.
Right?
And the craziest thing is when our gut's compromised, we end up having, our bones are compromised. The inside of our bones, our liver holds onto the toxins. Our skin holds onto the toxins. All of these different areas hold on to the things that our body really needs to get rid of.
Yes.
And the mushroom has, it's a long word called polysaccharide, but it allows the mushroom to go in and kind of take care of all of those things. Now I have an interesting fact for you guys.
Lay it on
I'm
us.
ready for it.
Okay, so mushrooms were around before plants and animals. And there's actually
Really?
more mushrooms in the world than plants and animals.
Really?
Isn't that something?
Is that what the dinosaurs ate?
Yeah, I mean, it must have been. Maybe the mushrooms ate the dinosaurs, I don't know. But fast forward a year, and Zenta has had the best year and a couple of months. So imagine a dog that's 108 in people years, and she's running today, which she didn't run before. And she goes to the lake and swims chasing the ducks that she hadn't done before. I mean, she's gone swimming, but only wading around in the water. She's never chased the ducks. She's up climbing on the rocks. And we know that her pads aren't coming off. We know that her hair's not coming out. And she actually had a boil, or the vet
Like a mass?
take a look at it and said it was a fat cell, said it would never really go away. And it was about the size of my fist. Today, it's about the size of my 2 fingers.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing, but it's the body.
So, just for those people out there that might be wondering,
Mhm.
is this a lot of anecdotal evidence, or what kind of research is behind the product?
Here's what's crazy. So the mushroom's been studied a lot. So more than 400 studies
There's
that
actually
are
a
out
lot
there.
of mushrooms being studied for human health
Right.
as well.
Right, absolutely. The mushroom's been studied quite a bit. There's more than 400 studies that looked at the effect with humans, not the effect with animals. And everything from curing cancer to HIV to hepatitis.
Can't use the cure word.
Yep.
You didn't say the.
I didn't say the
that.
cure word, no. Other countries look at the mushroom as medicine, as food for medicine. In fact, in the Ming Dynasty, when they said medicine is food, they were actually talking about the study of mushrooms. And so with all of the studies that are out there, and Google Coriolis versicolor mushrooms, you'll just get inundated with all of this information around what it does, and you're like, why is it that this is not out there?
Okay, can you do us a favor after the show, go back into the comments and spell that out?
I sure
for our
can.
viewers? Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
I sure can. Because I couldn't even say it for the first.
And I could put it rolls off your tongue. I was like, "Bleh."
I couldn't even say it for the first month or so. I just said the mushroom stuff, the mush puppies and that, and so it's absolutely amazing to see Zenta have the best year of her life, and it really kind of opens the door for me that this is where so many people have gotten to the point that they're run down, tired, exhausted. We talk about it, you know, kind of jokingly in my family that, or in our little group, that we've been
You
doing
don't
pet
joke.
testing.
I don't believe
We've been doing some animal testing in our house, and we actually demanded that the company get us access to the mushrooms, and we started taking them. And if you open up the capsule and taste them, it doesn't taste very good. It tastes about like dirt, but it's a mushroom.
Well, isn't
right?
that where mushrooms?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But it's amazing the difference in just little things.
That would actually be helpful for me because I have a reflex when my teeth bite into a mushroom. I have a physiological reflex that I don't want to repeat here.
Yeah,
But-
appreciate it. I'm sitting way too close.
I thought, well, maybe now that I'm a grown-up, I could, retry the mushrooms, and because there's some fabulous-looking recipes with the portobellos, and
Mhm.
they're so healthy to consume.
Mhm.
Certainly, I can try eating mushrooms, but no,
Yeah.
it didn't work.
So mushrooms are amazing, and do your research on mushrooms. With portobellos, you always want to make sure that they're all the way cooked. With some of the others that are out there, the
Yeah,
reishi
I've heard
and
that a lot of the
shiitakes.
mushrooms, because people eat them on their salads,
Mhm.
but they're much more effective for your health when they're cooked.
Mhm, absolutely, and they take on a different flavor. The flavors are there that are absolutely amazing.
I heard you cook a pretty mean mushroom.
I
I saw a
mushrooms.
witness of it, I just didn't get to taste it.
I'm a mushroom guy. I like mushrooms.
You like mushrooms?
Yeah.
I've been known to make mushrooms that taste like steak and that sort of stuff, but it's only a rumor.
I think I saw. Did we see evidence?
We might need to do a cooking show.
We might.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Because that's one of your other loves.
It
right,
is.
Cooking.
It is.
How did you get involved with cooking?
I got involved with cooking because my mom cooked, and it was pancakes in the morning, and she'd allowed me to do pancakes, and it was waffles, and then we had
All the nutritious stuff.
all the nutritious stuff. We had somebody come over to the house, and she made home fries, and she made them with onions and garlic and crisped up the home fries. And I thought, this is just fabulous. And I also like to eat, so it kind of helped with all of that. I swam, so we ate quite a bit. And so to keep everything going, I just kind of played around with cooking. And then I got in, when I worked for Walt Disney World, I worked banquets. So I had to know what was in the food. And I kind of had to be able to share with folks the allergies and that they have, so that I had to know how it was done. And it was intriguing for me to take that home and try it at home. And so the going joke around our house was make enough so when you screw up something, that does not come out on the table.
Well, I always say make enough so you can have leftovers.
Yeah, well, we always had,
I love leftovers for breakfast.
yeah, we always ended up having leftovers.
I'd rather have leftovers for breakfast than the pancakes.
It's good. It's absolutely,
Did you
It's-
ever take cooking classes?
I never did. I took a cake decorating class, learned how to professionally decorate a cake. I was the 6'2" muscular guy in the cake decorating class with like 30 women that were in their 50s and 60s that were learning how to decorate cakes. I don't know. I had so much fun doing it.
Do you know in
All
one of
the
my earlier
attentions.
lives, I did cake decorating
Did you really?
for birthday parties and
Really?
Mickey Mouse.
I did all the baking. She did all
He
the
made, he
decorating.
cooked them
Really?
and I
You made the
decorated them.
cakes? Wow.
And no, I don't want to do it again.
No.
A lot of
No.
work.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
But
a
I
lot.
mostly did the, star, little pattern with the face.
There's a talent to that, and we did a little roses and the stars and that, and to have them all even, so it looks fabulous. There's truly a talent to those things.
Do you
And
ever have a
patience.
desire to go back and do that again?
I don't. I love the idea of cooking and making things. I'm not when it starts getting to be cakes and those things, there's a little bit too much critiquing for me that goes on.
Yeah, those cake shows.
Oh, I
cooking
know.
shows.
And it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, so not
So
for
you're
me.
a little bit of a perfectionist?
No, maybe just a little shy.
Not
Did he say
you.
shy?
Did he say, really?
Does anybody who knows Kurt think that shy fits? Are you a situational extrovert?
I think so. I love my quiet time. I think that's why well, I take that back. I love when people help out in the kitchen. In fact, if you came over for dinner, I would probably not be ready for dinner for another hour after you came, because I want everybody in the kitchen. I want everybody to be a part of what's so much fun. And that's really what it's all about for me. If it's not fun, if it starts getting tedious, like the stars have to be exactly the same all the way around, that starts getting tedious for me, and leave it. If I could take the cake and go, then it's cake decorating for me.
Here's the cake, here's the frosting, help yourself.
There we go, we're good to go.
And in many houses, the kitchen's a lot of place where people gather anyway.
Your house is a lot like that.
It is a lot like that, yeah.
Kind of like ours.
Yeah.
Kitchen table. It's like
Yeah.
the kitchen table right here.
Yeah.
So you told us how you got involved with the company, but you stayed involved.
I did.
What is your vision?
Here's what
passion
I found is that there's so many people that are out there, and so many pet parents that are out there, and they think they're doing so well with the foods that they get at the grocery store, and then they go to a specialty store. I'm going to tell you some stuff that's really scary. That dog food is actually controlled by the feed organization of the federal government. It's not controlled by the FDA. And the feed organization in the United States is basically for cattle, pigs, and chickens to make them fat and ready to go to slaughter.
Which then we eat.
Right. And so we're getting all of the things that they're putting in. And if you knew about recycled proteins, and this is what the cattle industry and pig and this is what this industry allows, is for the recycling of proteins. And so what's protein? Anything that roadkill, euthanized animals, just about anything.
Deers
And so
laying
you
on the
start
side of the road?
on the side of the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Have
scary.
you ever wondered what ended up happening to? Well, no, I can't even say that. That'd not even be good. But just imagine the worst case scenario of recycled protein. And so there's no kind of control around that. It's recycled proteins. It's
See a lot of exposés on human food lately, but I haven't really seen a lot of that for the pet. But if it's happening in human food, it's got to be happening with pet food.
well, it's happening so much worse. And I would tell
Because
anybody
there's
that's out there,
probably fewer guidelines.
do not eat any dog food that you get from a store, especially from the grocery store. And even if it's premium.
Is that true for organic dog foods?
Here's the crazy thing is that I can take a pea that's organically grown, I can put it in a 50-pound bag of dog food, and I can call the whole bag organic.
Well, even with I hate to keep saying human food and animal food because they could really eat the same thing, but if it says it's blueberry, it only has to have like 10%, and that'd be called blueberry, if that much.
And it only has to have one blueberry
One
in it.
blueberry.
One blueberry.
So you get
And then it can
blueberry
say
pancakes in there.
That's frightening what they can get away with.
It is. And a premium dog food can be, we pay the extra money for premium dog food because we believe that the premium dog food is better. But some of the dog foods, the premium is the same as the rot gut dog food that's there. It's no different, just has a different label on it. They just collect extra money.
And different marketing.
Well, we wanted you to come on because we know that you love it's uncomfortable even to call them animals, right? 'Cause they feel like our children.
Yeah.
That you really love your pets and you treat them more like your children than other people do. But if you have animals and you really care about them, read labels, right? Know where your food is created from. I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to feed anybody you love, whether it's a fur baby or a human baby.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And know what these things are. So meat meal can be any form of protein.
I'm getting a little bit nauseous.
Yeah. and so things like bone meal or you think about it, all of a sudden there's a beautiful salmon, a bag of salmon dog food, right? Salmon's what, $11, $12 a pound. And this dog food sells for $1.89, $2, $3 a pound. And it says salmon meal on it. Well, it's everything else that's in the salmon. So the heads, the scales, the tails, the bones, all of that's ground into a soup. That soup is then taken and pressurized, and it's extruded out into a high pressure thing, and it comes out as a little puff.
Anybody hungry for dinner?
So here we are, we're feeding, and this is where a pet club really kind of aligns with pet health. So we feed our cats these little pellets of extruded food, right? And so if a cat keeps eating this dehydrated thing, they eat, drink, and so do the dogs, drink this water, it swells up in their gut. The body can't absorb any more of the water that's there. The dog walks around full, stuffed, right? And the water has a tough time being able to get into food. So one of the things that...
Tell us a little bit about what you
one
have
of the
here.
things that the Pet Club kind of came up with is that philosophy that cats need wet food. And so this is a gravy. It retails about $12. And you put this on the cat food.
How long does that last?
A month. And it's salmon flavored. My cat, if I do this, the cat's coming from the refrigerator to come get it. And it just allows there to be a gravy that goes on the food. And
Now, does Pet Club, does your company sell food as well?
They
or-
do. They actually have a dog food and a cat food, and all these things are human grade, so we can eat them all. In fact, I wanted to bring these because I wanted to kind of put a challenge out there that we eat a mushroom.
Okay. Anybody want to come eat a mushroom?
So I'm just going to open this up. It's peanut butter, and it's about like eating a biscuit or a cookie at Whole Foods or any of those things. It just comes like that. There's about 30 of them that are in there.
And I usually read the label pretty good before I eat anything.
Okay.
But I'm going to trust you because I know that that's important to you. So I'm going to trust.
Yep, so there's the label that's right there. There's apple juice, oat flour, whole oat flour. There's flaxseed, and eggs and peanuts, and Coriolis versicolor mushrooms.
Real food then.
So
Real
if you're
food.
allergic to peanuts, don't eat them, right?
Yeah, don't eat it. And so I'll eat the first one. Yeah, you want that one?
I'll try it.
Okay. So,
Cheers.
Sure.
Okay.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Not bad.
Needs a little salt.
Needs a little water.
Want to try one?
Sure.
Nice.
Oh, here's another one.
Here's another one.
Coming at you. Here.
Too much.
Oh, come on up here, get it.
Third one's a charm.
Our friend Rhonda's in town. This is, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
It's
good.
actually good.
Yeah,
Green
dog
dog
biscuits. Absolutely.
But it is actually tasty. So, how do people get a hold of you if they're interested in trying this product?
There's a website, and it's love, L-O-V-E, petclub247.com. Lovepetclub247.com.
And that's your website?
Mm-hmm.
Any other way they can get a hold of you?
Yeah.
Email or?
I have an email. It's KURT, weeks, W-E-E-K-S, like days and weeks and months, 7727 at gmail.com. And then again, that's kurtweeks7727 at gmail.com.
Awesome.
I'll answer any questions that you have.
You had some antlers here.
I do.
What are those?
We have an antler biscuit. Now, this is tough to be able to do, is to be able to take an antler biscuit. What they do with this is they actually split the antlers. These antlers are harvested, and they're harvested off of the ground after the deer and elk shed them. And they're grade A, which means they're less than a year old. They don't turn white, they don't have a stink, and they split them to be able to produce chew toys. Wolves love them, they'll carry them around, they'll bring them back to their den, and antlers are very good for the organs, the heart, the lung, the liver, kidneys. And so what they do is Pet Club actually bakes them into a biscuit, a human grade biscuit. We could eat those as well, a way different flavor. And the dogs love them. The dogs absolutely love them. And it does very good for the internal organs. Pet Club is really on a mission to kind of revolutionize the pet industry in that we don't have to put bad stuff out to try and make a profit. The Pet Club is going to make a profit, but they also have the end user, my pet family, in mind. And I love that.
Yeah. So if you want to ward off disease or illness with your pets, give it a try.
So I have a story for you. So we
Okay.
had a dog by the name of Lucky, and he went to the vet and with an eye infection, and the vet did surgery to try and get the infection out, and actually nicked the eyeball, and so there was an infection that was going in the eye. We got a call that they wanted to get the mush puppies to them because the vet basically said that the eyeball was going to burst and they were going to lose the eyeball. And so had the mush puppies delivered out to them. The dog started taking the mush puppies. We advised that they take 4 or 5 of the mush puppies at one time, and because you can eat bucket load of it and it's not going to do you, there's no side effects to it. And so what ended up happening the next day, we get a call and we hear, oh my gosh, it's pink, it's pink. And so a friend of ours that actually got the call, and she was so excited because the dog's eye had turned from blood red to pink.
Oh, nice.
And that was
Great.
the sign that the dog was going to be able to keep its eye. A week later, the infection was all gone. Just boosting the immune system on the animal allowed the dog's own immune system to be able to heal itself.
This is
So
fascinating.
sometimes it's time, right? When the vet says it's time to let them go, it's time. Quickly, because we're almost out of time. What was it? Was it intuition, or what was it that you knew somehow that today wasn't the day for Zenta?
For Zenta, it was her look at me. We've put other dogs down. It was definitely time for them. The mushroom, and that it does not solve everything. It just allows the body's own immune system to boost itself. And I didn't know that the mushroom was going to come into my life. But I saw Zenta look at me and say it wasn't time. So I brought her home.
Yeah. I love that story. Whoops. Sorry. Well, I'm really happy that you came on.
I'm very happy to be here. I've kind of taken on what you guys are doing with your plants. I love the idea of the plants in the house and the oxygen formed around those things, because we're missing that out here.
We're
in the
cleaning
desert.
up our air.
So have you added some plants?
Yeah, we have. We brought some plants into the house when you guys started to do that. So, yeah, it's yeah.
Go get a plant. Go get a dog.
Yeah.
Because really with kids, and probably adults too, animals are good to build your microbiome and have good bacteria. So some people think that they're germy and dirty, but they actually are healthy
Right.
to have around, just like plants. So go get an animal and go get a plant. But thank you for being with us, and thank you for being with us today and joining in. And we look forward to seeing you next month.
I love it.
And
Thank
come
you for
back,
having
maybe
me.
come back and bring your lovely bride with you.
I will. Be glad to do it.
Take care and God bless.
God bless. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for watching.